In today's video, we are going to be talking about caramel and coffee scents. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, then just keep watching. Before we get into the video, I do want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new here. My name is Aisha. I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Probably about a month or two ago, I did a video talking about gourmand fragrances, and in that video, I went through several categories of gourmand fragrances. One of the categories was coffee, and I did say that I would do a video talking about my coffee fragrances. However, when I began to plan out that video, I realized that a lot of my coffee fragrances also have caramel in them. So these fragrances are coffee fragrances, but sometimes the caramel is just as potent. So I figured I would name this caramel and coffee, but just know that if you're only here for the caramel portion, you may be a little disappointed because most of these fragrances are about the coffee as well. So let's go ahead and get into this video. I have one honorable mention, so we'll go ahead and start with that one first. So first up is from Imaginary Authors, and this is a whiff of waffle cone. So this fragrance is meant to smell like an ice cream shop. However, when I smell this fragrance, initially, I get a lot of like caramel, vanilla, ice cream type scent. And the longer that this sits on the skin, it becomes more toasty. And then in the dry down, it actually becomes a little bit smoky. So the reason it's an honorable mention is there is no coffee in this scent, but the way that it smells in the dry down, I could imagine that coffee could be a note. It is not a note, I'm telling y'all, but the way it smells in the dry down, it gets this kind of smoky take on it. So it's like smoky vanilla caramel and coffee, even though coffee's not in there, y'all, but it smells like there could be like a dark coffee in this fragrance. So I definitely wanted to mention it because I kind of feel like this fragrance doesn't fit anywhere into my other videos, but I feel like it kind of fits into this one. So I wanted to mention it. This is not my absolute favorite fragrance. I'm going to be completely honest with you all. I do like it. I do enjoy it. I was just hoping for more of a sweet ice cream scent when I purchased this, and that's not what I got. And I should have known because a lot of people say it's not what you expect. But it is good in its own right, and so I do want to keep it in my collection, and I will continue wearing it, but it's just not like my top favorite scent. So again, that is a whiff of waffle cone from Imaginary Authors. Now that we got that one out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the true coffee fragrances on this list. So the first one is Killian Intoxicated. So this one is a very dark, deep coffee scent. This smells like black coffee mixed with cardamom. You have to enjoy the note of cardamom along with the note of coffee to like this fragrance. This is not going to be for everybody. I feel like it's quite intense, especially when you first spray it, but I will say that it does not stay that way the entire time. This kind of settles in, becomes a little bit smoother, becomes a little less intense and more wearable in my opinion as the day goes on, because I feel like if it stay at that same level of intensity as it is at first spray, I feel like it could be bothersome. For a person like me, sometimes the fragrances are too strong and they're like that all day. They really give me a headache. This one does not give me a headache, but it is quite intense. Not gonna be for everybody. This is not a sweet coffee scent. This is like strong black coffee, like dark roast. It's quite unique, and I could see how it could be polarizing. But although I'm saying it smells like coffee, it doesn't smell like you spilled coffee on yourself. I've kind of talked about this in another video. Sometimes, like if you've actually spilled coffee on yourself, it has a weird smell to it. It doesn't smell like coffee beans. It smells almost like rank. Like it doesn't smell right when you spill coffee like on yourself. And none of the fragrances I'm talking about smell like that. I don't want to smell like that. All these fragrances have a coffee note, but they don't smell like you actually literally poured a cup of coffee on yourself. Now, some of them do smell like you're smelling a cup of coffee, or you're smelling coffee after it was just brewed. You smell that smell of coffee in the air, and this is one of those. Okay, this one does smell like coffee. You have to be a coffee fan to enjoy this one. But I think that if you are a fan of coffee and you are a fan of cardamom, this is one you should check out because it is quite intense. I have to be in the mood to wear this, but when I do wear it, I thoroughly enjoy it. And I definitely think this one is unisex, may even lean slightly more masculine than feminine, but you know, that depends on who's wearing it. So again, that is Intoxicated by Killian. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Skyler Vanilla Sky. So this fragrance, I believe it has a cappuccino note, if I'm remembering correctly, and it definitely smells like that. So it smells like a frou-frou la-la coffee drink, very sweet, like a frappuccino mixed with some vanilla, some caramel. And it also has like a salty take on it. So I don't know if it's salted caramel in this fragrance, but that's the vibe that I get, like a salted caramel cappuccino, but the cappuccino is very lightweight. Like you're not using 2 shots of espresso in this cappuccino. You're probably using like a half a shot. So just a little bit of that coffee smell, but it's still there. Overall, this is a very light wearing fragrance. So it's good if you live in climates where it doesn't get too cold, but you still want to do that whole gourmand thing, or you want to do a summer gourmand. This is one that you can wear for those types of occasions. I actually wore this one this morning to Pilates, and as soon as I walked in, somebody told me how delicious I smelled, but I didn't overspray it or anything like that. So people can smell it on you, but it's not like a lot. This is very easygoing, very likable for a lot of people. I think it is sweet, but it's not overly sweet, and it's not too dense either. Skyler is a clean beauty brand, and I feel like with a lot of clean fragrances, they don't last all day. So if you're looking at trying this fragrance, just know that you're probably gonna have to reapply it. I don't know exactly how many hours I get out of this fragrance, but I would say probably about 4 to 5 hours, but I'm completely okay with that. So again, that is Skyler Vanilla Sky. Next up is an old favorite of mine, and this is Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One. So again, this is a very likable scent. This is that side of coffee fragrances that I feel like, I mean, how could you not like this? You may not love this, but how could you not like this? So this one smells like coffee caramel praline mix, but it also has this transparent kind of sparkling nature to it. So it smells very like sparkly on the skin. Gives me the vibes of champagne, although it doesn't smell like champagne, but it gives me those kind of vibes. It's beautiful. It's sweet. It's gourmand leaning without smelling too edible. And I think this is just well liked by a lot of people, and a lot of men seem to like this. My husband loves this one on me. So for me, this is kind of one of my sexier scents, one that I don't typically wear it out on date night, to be completely honest, but I do wear it in on date nights in the house because I know my husband really enjoys this, and I have heard a lot of women say their men love it on them too. So again, that is Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One. This next fragrance I only have a travel spray of, but I still wanted to include it in this video, and I'll kind of get into why I only have a travel spray of this. So the fragrance that I'm talking about is Killian Black Phantom. So this fragrance is gorgeous. This is a dark chocolate coffee caramel scent. Now I know you hear dark chocolate and caramel and coffee, and in my mind I immediately think like very sweet, very thick, very dense. This is thick and dense, but it is not sweet, y'all. This is not a sweet fragrance. There is some sweetness to this fragrance, but don't get it twisted. It does not smell like a chocolate bar or anything like that. The chocolate that's in this fragrance smells almost bitter, like a very dark chocolate. And then the caramel, you can get that sweetness from the caramel, but it doesn't smell like extremely sweet. There's also some earthy notes in this fragrance. I don't know if patchouli is a note in this fragrance, but it kind of smells like you could have some patchouli or something that's very earthy in this fragrance that stops this from being like a true, like literal gourmand. It's gorgeous. Now, the reason that I said that I only have this in the travel spray is because I feel like sometimes this leans a bit masculine on me. I know plenty of women that wear this and love this, and I love the smell of this, but sometimes I feel like it leans a bit masculine, so I have to be in the mood to wear this. So I have this travel spray, and I think I have 2 more of these, so I feel like that's enough for me. Now obviously if you buy the bottle, it's a much better deal but because of the type of fragrance that it is, this is not something that I reach for a lot. But when I do wear it, I really enjoy it. I definitely have to wear this in cold weather because it is quite deep and dark. But when I wear it, it's amazing. So Again, that is Killian Black Phantom. This next fragrance is from Comptoir Sud Pacifique, and this is Vanille Cafe. So this is a sweeter, like vanilla latte type scent. You can smell the coffee in there, but it is combined with this like vanilla milky type smell. And yeah, it smells like a sweet vanilla latte to me. As this dries down, it does kind of get a smoky tone to it, which I'm not sure where that's coming from, but on my skin, it gets a little bit smoky in the dry down. And somebody's actually asked me before if I was wearing By the Fireplace by Replica when I was wearing this fragrance. Now, I don't think they smell alike, but the smokiness that I kind of get in the dry down of this fragrance does remind me of By the Fireplace, but on a much lesser level. But overall, this is a really beautiful scent. I never hear anybody talk about this, but it's honestly really good. So I think that if you're looking for like an entry-level coffee scent, this would be one you should check out. So again, that is Vanille Cafe from Comptoir Sud Pacifique. This next fragrance is from Bond number 9, and this is New York Nights. So this one is a newer one to my collection, and I honestly don't have a ton of experience wearing it, but I still wanted to mention because I know this one is becoming a little bit more popular on YouTube, and it does have that coffee caramel scent in the dry down. So to me, when I first spray this fragrance, honestly, I get acetone. That sounds bad, but that only lasts for me for like 10 seconds, but it does kind of smell like acetone. Let me know if y'all have experienced that with this fragrance. There's been other fragrances that I have gotten the same vibe from, but to me it's not bothersome because it's not, I say it smells like acetone, but it's not so strong. It smells like an acetone perfume. That still sounds bad, but first spray, being completely honest, I get a little bit of acetone smell. However, after probably about 10 seconds, that goes away and I start smelling this beautiful like banana bread smell. I don't think banana is a note in this, but I'm pretty sure ylang ylang is one of the flowers in here. And sometimes that can give off a banana type smell. And when it's mixed with the other notes in this fragrance, it just kind of gives this warm, bready type smell as well. It's actually really, really pretty. And I do enjoy this fragrance, although I said it smells like acetone, y'all. It's the best acetone ever, okay? As you get into the deeper dry down, I feel like you still get that kind of banana bready smell, and that's when the coffee and caramel come out. So this fragrance does go on a journey. So if you have tried this fragrance, just don't spray this on paper and just smell it like that. You have to wear this on your skin to give it a good try. Now, I haven't worn this enough to really talk about longevity, projection, or anything like that. I've probably only worn it like 3 or 4 times, but I do know the smell and I do thoroughly enjoy the smell. And I think the way the coffee and caramel come out in the dry down, it just smells so delicious while still smelling perfumey. So if you're not into like very edible gourmands, this is one you should check out because it gives you that sweet foodie smell, but not too much. You still smell like you're wearing perfume, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I hope I get a lot more use out of this as we're going into colder months so I can have a better grasp on longevity and all that to share with you all. But for right now, I have been thoroughly enjoying this, and I think this is one you should try if it sounds interesting to you. So again, that is Bond number 9, New York Nights. This next fragrance I've had for a while, but I don't ever really talk about it, and it's because of the brand. The brand is always in and out of business. Right now, as of today, I did look them up and they are currently in business, and this fragrance is currently available on their website. I'll definitely link it down below for you guys. But the brand we're talking about is Ganache Parfums, and this is Iced Coffee. So this fragrance is good, y'all. This is good, but again, it's one of those fragrances I have to be in the mood for. This one smells like a nice sweet coffee. Not too sweet like vanilla latte, no. It smells like coffee. You can actually smell that true coffee smell, but a little bit of sweetness. So iced coffee, I feel like it's the perfect name for it. Now, I know a lot of people like throw a ton of milk and all these other sweeteners into their iced coffee. So it's not that, it's not a frappuccino. This is like iced coffee for coffee drinkers. You get that coffee, it smells a little sweet, and somehow they have been able to incorporate that iced feeling into this fragrance. I have no idea how, but when I smell it, maybe it's because of the name, I immediately go to iced coffee. Now I do believe cardamom is in this fragrance as well, and you can definitely smell that. If cardamom isn't in here, I would be very, very surprised. But to me, it smells like there's a dash of cardamom in here, but it's not overpowering. It's not overtaking that coffee. Overall, you just get a nice like Starbucks coffee on ice with a little bit of creamer in there and a little bit of sweetener. It's gorgeous, but this is definitely a mood type fragrance because it is quite literal. This is one of those literal gourmand scents, and although it's not extremely sweet, it's still one that I have to be in the mood to wear. A lot of times I wear this to take my kids to school in the morning because it's like a nice little pick-me-up, but it's not something that I really want to smell on myself all day long. So again, that is Ganache Parfums Iced Coffee. This next fragrance is from YSL, and this is Black Opium Illicit Green. Now, the original YSL Black Opium also has coffee in it, but I only have the Illicit Green in my collection now, so that's why we're talking about this one. But I think if you have any of the YSL Black Opiums, they all have coffee and they all have caramel or praline in them. And I know Black Opium gets a lot of hate, but I still think this is a really good fragrance. So this one smells like sweet caramel, coffee, vanilla, very inviting, kind of sensual in my opinion. Now with the Illicit Green, there is also a fig note in this fragrance. I don't necessarily get fig from it, but I do get a bit of a greenness to this fragrance. Makes it a little less sweet than the original Black Opium in my opinion. And I also feel like I can smell the coffee a little bit more in this version of Black Opium. So if you have not tried Illicit Green and you like the Black Opium flavors, definitely check this one out. I don't think that you need this one if you have the original Black Opium, but if you're out of Black Opium and you want to re-up, maybe check this one out instead. It's a little bit different, but still in that same Black Opium wheelhouse. So again, YSL Black Opium Illicit Green. By the way, this was sent to me. I forgot to mention that. Also, while we're on that page, this one, Vanilla Sky, was sent to me as well a long time ago. So I always try to remember it. Sometimes I do forget, y'all. I'm only human. These were not sent to me for this particular video, but I always try to mention if something was sent to me in the past just to keep it transparent. This next fragrance is probably the most challenging one on this list. This is Xerjoff Golden Dollar. So this is from their Coffee Break collection. I think they released like 4 fragrances in this collection. This is the only one that I own. And this fragrance, when I got it, I was a little bit surprised because I expected like a very strong coffee scent, and you definitely do get coffee in this, but to me, this is more about the spices. So there are all kinds of spices in this fragrance. When I smell it, they smell like very exotic spices, or like you are in an Indian kitchen. Now, I'm not saying you're walking around smelling like curry, but those kind of spices. So I think you have to be open to that to like this fragrance, because initially when you spray this fragrance, that's kind of all you get. As this fragrance dries down, the coffee does come out to play, and there's a little bit of sweetness in this fragrance. This one is definitely cold weather. I think it would be too much when it's hot, because I feel like the hot weather with those spices, I don't know if it could come off smelling like too foody. I'm really not sure. This is definitely more of a cold weather scent. So I don't get to wear it very often, but I do thoroughly enjoy it. I just have to be in the mood to wear it, and it has to be cold. But it is really good. It's very unique. I do have a video talking all about this fragrance, so I will link it for you all. I haven't worn this in a while because it honestly has not been cold enough yet, but I can't wait until we actually get like a really cold day, because I've been wanting to wear this again. I just know that I'm not going to do that when it's hot outside, y'all. So anyway, that is Golden Dollar from Xerjoff. So last but not least is the collaboration with Fragrance Du Bois and Demi Rawling. This is called Minui et Demi. So this fragrance is all about the coffee, caramel, and spices. There is a pimento note in this fragrance. I honestly don't know what pimento smells like, but the spiciness in this fragrance is very noticeable. The coffee and caramel is also very noticeable, but this is not a very sweet scent. This one has a bit of sweetness to it, but overall it's more of a reserved, very refined, sophisticated sweetness. This one is also kind of dark and deep, and I love that. It's not the sweet fragrance that I thought it was gonna be when it came out, but now that I have lived with this fragrance, I've worn it a lot, I have really grown to love this fragrance. That was not the case when I first got this fragrance, and I will link my review for you guys, but I will say the longer I've had this fragrance, I've really grown to love it. And I actually saved it for last because it's my favorite out of this whole list. This is my favorite fragrance out of this whole list now. And the reason that it's my favorite is because although it's not a big projector, it is one that I can smell on myself now, and it lasts long enough for what it's supposed to do. So I typically now reserve this for nighttime. It's a fragrance that feels very sexy, very intimate, very come closer, and I use it for that, and I love it for that. So this is not one that I would wear if I'm trying to go out and get a bunch of compliments, or I'm trying to be the center of attention, or even to probably a big party or anything like that. This will be one that I like to wear on date night. I like to wear it for Netflix and chill. I like to wear it when I'm in a more intimate setting, and it works really well for that. And there's just something that is so alluring about this fragrance. This is one that once I start wearing it, I want to keep wearing it, and I'm really happy about that, because initially this just wasn't doing it for me. Like it wasn't living up to what I thought it was going to be, but now that I have lived with it, worn it more, I can't get enough, y'all. This is my absolute favorite out of this list, and I'm glad about it, y'all. So again, that is Fragrance du Bois Minui et Demi. So those were all the fragrances I wanted to share with you all. Let us know in the comments down below if you have a coffee scent or a coffee and caramel scent that I should check out, or the other people reading the comments should check out. Also, if you've tried any of the fragrances I mentioned, let us know what you think of them down below as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos 3 times a week, and for the month of December, it's actually 4 times a week. So definitely have your notification bell on and check out my other content. I have plenty of videos that you can check out in your free time. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me over there as well. I love to chit chat with you guys in my DMs and my stories, and I feel like it's just an easy way for us to get to know each other. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.